a problem of children actually starving. That is a child endangerment scenario to which CPS needs to be called. If you're talking about like actual child starvation, the truth is it does not take that much money to feed a child. I know I have 3 of them. You should be feeding your child before you feed yourself. It's that simple. There's a much deeper problem at work than school lunches if kids are legitimately starving.
If only it was that simple. You know what? Because he can feed his kids. Everybody else should be able to too. So the cost of school lunches has always been an issue, America. This is not new just because of the pandemic. The pandemic just simply exacerbated a problem. And this is a problem of our social contract, one to another. As Jessica just laid out, this is not complicated at all. Children are hungry. We need to feed them. Children are hungry. It is our collective responsibility to do something to help them. They could not choose who their parents are and are not. They could not choose what zip code that they are born in. Hello, somebody? And what civilized society, underline, bold that, underscore that, what civilized society would sit back and allow and know that children are going hungry and say that it is okay? Like that idiot Ben Shapiro, because that is exactly what this man is. Let's just go ahead and call the thing what it is. See, here on Unbossed, we don't play games with it. We don't have a genteel way to explain how immoral some of these things are that these right wingers are coming up with. America is wrong all day long. 365 days of the year and twice on Sunday, as my grandmother would say. It's wrong. What is wrong with us? Something is wrong with us, America. It really is. Average school lunch costs about $2.50 a meal. That's $50 monthly expense per child. This reporting is coming from Vox. When it comes to nationwide, let's put up this map here that we have. What do students pay for school lunches in your state? And you see all of our beautiful states and all of the beautiful colors from $0 to $3 per state, and it varies by state. At the end of the day, if it doesn't cost that much, then maybe we should just pay for the school lunches. Doesn't that make sense? If it doesn't cost that much, then maybe we should pay for the school lunches. It's called an investment in our future. Let's look at it like that. Let's say it's an investment in our future. Or maybe if our children, Jessica, were a bank that went belly up, then maybe we could get some attention and the problems will be solved.
Yeah, it goes to show what the priorities are. It reminds me of that phrase that people always use when we're talking about, public programs that people like to call welfare. But they're like, well, if you give a person fish, they'll eat for a day. If you teach them to fish, they'll be able to feed themselves for their lives. That is so backwards because right now there is no fish for people. If you're a kid, you don't have the perception of where your lunch money came from. You really don't. I can't remember that as a kid. You don't know you're getting a handout. Moreover, this is money that people have put into the public school system. These are taxpayer dollars that go to local school systems. People worked for those dollars. Ben is saying he has a better idea for how they should be allocated. Instead, we should have, maybe tax breaks for the rich, and your kids shouldn't eat at school. It doesn't make sense. If people want their money to go towards their kids' lunch, they're already paying for it. They're already paying their taxes. It is not a giveaway. It is not something that's being done for free. Moreover, if your kids are hungry at school, guess what? They're not gonna learn very much. It's bad for the economy in the long term. If kids don't retain what they learned in school in K through 12, they're not gonna be very innovative. They're probably not gonna be great workers after that. That's not good for the economy. But the baseline is it's cruel to just think that people should go hungry, to make that deliberate choice. And we shouldn't have to go further than that and talk about the long-term economic implications of this.
Very cruel, but I'm glad that you did. And even the reserve, they did a study on child hunger. They did a study on pre-K and how important that is to the ultimate development. And the things that you're pointing out right now, Jessica, is that do we want our children who will be adults one day to be on the asset side of the ledger or the liability side of the ledger, if you want to look at it that way? Now, I don't look at it that way. I think it is the morally right and just thing to do. And your point about how tax dollars go to that, I think most people would want to know that their tax dollars are going to make sure that all children get good meals in school, period. I don't know many people, if we posed it to them in that way, Jessica, that would be, I mean, you would have to be a tyrant of some sort to say that you don't want your, cut this part of your tax dollars. You don't want it to go to making sure that all children, not some children, but all children are fed. And if children are going hungry, beloveds, that means that their community most likely is going hungry. It means that their mama and their daddies most likely are going hungry. You got that Ben Shapiro talking about feed the kids first. What the hell do he think parents are doing? Most parents do that first. Genius. The man is such a genius. Lord have mercy. Let's put up this last graphic. If it doesn't take much to feed a child, which is exactly why we should do it. Thank you, Righteous Jay. It is just as simple as that. If it doesn't take much to feed a child, which is exactly why we should do it, America.